This piece of spring has perhaps an interesting structure. Notice the stitches in the top section lean one way. In the middle section, the stitches lean a different direction. And at the bottom, they return to that original direction of lean. We say that stitches that have this lean as at the top of the cloth, we call that a Z or Z lean because they lean in the same direction as the alphabet letter Z. And the stitches in that middle section, leaning the other direction, people call this an S lean because it leans the way that line in the middle of the S leans. How do you switch between these two different leans of stitch? That's the subject of this video. Notice the manner in which I set up my threads. Each thread passes behind the end rod, then around and into back position. All the way across the row, they're set up the same way. I hold these threads in my hand, they're front threads, and these are back threads. To work a Z or Z leaning stitch, a stitch leaning this direction, I pick up a thread from the back and put a front thread to the back. Pick up and put down, pick up and put down, pick up and put down. The movement is pick up and put down. Notice that the thread starting on the left passes under the thread that's on the right. The thread coming from the upper right corner passes in front. It also means that the thread coming from this side passes under its partner. On the plate row, I begin with pick up 2, put 1 down, then pick up, put down, pick up, put down. This is the way we get stitches that have the Z or Z lean. At the end of the row, it's pick up 1, put 2 down. That's the plate row. But now we want to switch from this kind of a lean to this kind of a lean. To get that result, we need to do something different. I'm going to switch directions, having just finished a plate row, and I'm ready for the overplate row. You're wondering, how's this going to work? The secret is that we work the first stitch of the other direction on these 2 threads. I identify these 2 front threads, and Z means that the thread coming from the left passes behind. For an S lean, the thread coming from the left will pass in front of its partner. We want to work this kind of a crossing. We're going to take the number 2 thread and pass it in front of the number 1 thread. I take this one over and to the back, and the partner thread comes to the front. Let me do that again. To change direction of lean after completing a plate row, we work a stitch on these 2 front threads. Number 2 thread will pass in front of his partner. The way I like to do it, I slide my middle finger behind the 2nd thread. I clamp down with my index finger to grab that thread. It's now in back position in my right hand. That's the put down move. Then I take the partner thread with my thumb and index fingers, and that's pick up. I take the next front thread, the left of the next pair of partners. He passes in front of his partner and to back position. That's put down. And this thread comes to the front. The next stitch will happen between these 2 threads, this front thread and this back thread. The front thread goes to the back, and the back thread comes to the front. I say put down, pick up, put down, pick up. Or if I call this a scissor grab, and this is a pinch grab, then it's scissor, pinch, scissor, pinch, scissor, pinch, put down, pick up, put down, pick up. Now at the end of the row, I have only 1 thread in front here and 3 in back. Yes, that's correct. The second to last stitch is put down, pick up, and the very last stitch happens using these 2 back threads. Once again, the rule is that the thread coming from the left passes in front of the thread at the right. I pass in front of that first thread. I grab the far thread with these 2 fingers. That's the put down part. And this is the pick up part. We now have threads crossing in the opposite direction. Note that the threads on this row do not twist around their neighbor, as in the interlinking structure. This structure, the structure on this row is different. It's called interlacing instead of interlinking. Where a row of Z stitches meets a row of S stitches, we have a row of interlacing. It's starting to look like woven cloth. Now, since the edges of this row are one up, one down, then to move to an S-leaning interlinking structure, we'll work an S-leaning plait row. This is how we do it. To work the plait row, we begin with a stitch that uses 3 threads. I take 2 threads from the front and I bring them to the back. That's put down, and here's pick up. I scissor at the front and I pinch at the back. Put down, pick up. Put down, pick up. Put down, pick up, or scissor and pinch, scissor and pinch, scissor and pinch, scissor and pinch. Put down and pick up. At the end of the row, we've got 3 threads remaining. I have 1 in front and 2 in back. Second to last stitch is put down, pick up, and yes, the last stitch is put 1 down, pick up 2. Because I started with put 2 down, the end of the row, it's pick up 2. That's an S-leaning plait row. For the overplait row, we work put down, pick up, put down, pick up. I tell people that my scissors starts with an S, and this is my scissor grab. For an S-lean, you begin with scissors. So that's scissor and pinch, scissor and pinch, all the way across the row. Or you can say put down and pick up, put down and pick up, put down and pick up. And this gives you an S-leaning interlinking structure. So now I've worked several rows of S-leaning interlinking stitches. S-leans this way. How do I switch back to Z or Z-leaning stitches? I switch directions right after having worked a plait row, and I work the first stitch on these 2 back threads. Where S was put down, pick up, Z will be pick up, put down. For the Z crossing, the thread here on the left needs to come under his partner from the right. So to get this working correctly, I reach behind the first thread and I take the second thread. I bring him around from behind. That's pick up and put down. Let's do that again. I work the first stitch on these 2 back threads. The first thread, maybe we temporarily consider him a front thread. I reach behind and I take the partner thread. I bring him around to the front, and this front thread goes to the back. Then I work pick up and put down, regular Z stitches. Pick up and put down. This should be comfortable and familiar to you. Pick up and put down. Notice that the threads are not twisting around as interlinking. I pick up and put down threads just come straight across. This is an interlacing structure where the 2 different leans meet. Now, whoa, at the end of the row, what's happening here? Yep, that's correct. I've got 3 front threads and 1 back thread. I'm going to work the second to last stitch as pick up and put down. And for the very last stitch, I'm going to use these 2 front threads. I reach behind the first thread. I grab the far thread. I bring him under and to the front. And his partner is now a back thread. That's pick up and put down. All the way across, now I worked pick up, put down. You see, I've changed the lean of the stitches. Having finished that row, I'm going to put in my chopsticks and my safety string, and I can now work another row of Z interlinking, this time a plait row. And this row begins with that 3 thread stitch, pick up 2 from the back, and I put 1 down. Pick up and put down, pick up and put down, pick up and put down, all the way across. This is my normal Z-leaning interlinking stitch. Ends with a left edge stitch. Yes, we've returned to normal Z interlinking stitches.